friends, this is Ronnie, and welcome to the Anaheim White House in Anaheim, California. Well, this is a wonderful place to have your political party. You know, I'm always looking for a great place to entertain and influence friends and business associates. This is it. The Anaheim White House has my vote. You know, Nancy and I always enjoy being hospitable and entertaining our friends. Well, this is a great place to bring your friends, the Anaheim White House.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage tonight former President Ronald Reagan.
All right.
Such a good-looking bunch of Republicans in my whole life. There you go. Well, Mr. Hoffman, I want to tell you, I'm so pleased that you gave me such a great, warm welcome. And I think we have a new expression for this particular engagement tonight. Mr. Hoffman, the drinks are on you. The Anaheim White House, maybe you did not know this, but it was originally a private residence. It was built in 1909. So here we go. Celebrating 100 years. Isn't that great? Now, you know, I always enjoy talking about something that's a little bit older than I am. 100 great years. Did you see the family album that they had out front? Has great people in it. Yeah, movie stars. Even President Carter. You had Carter chicken here tonight. How'd you like that? Abe Lincoln beef. Really good. Now, what I would like to say is I was looking in the family album there and I saw Danny DeVito. Did you see that? Danny DeVito? Well, if time will permit, we'll have the waiters bring out the booster chair that he used. Of course, he was in the movie there with Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, the standing governor of California. Well, we could have had him here, but I wanted to do the job myself. Well, and people got out and when I had a bid for a re-election, well, let's just say they told me that after winning 49 of the 50 states, they said we won by a landslide. And I said, don't say landslide too loud here in California. We have more of a mountain slide, if you ask me. Now, in the words of General George S. Patton, they had a plan, and here's what you always need to count on. A plan is most important. A good plan, executed today, is much better than a perfect plan executed sometime in the future. Just for proof. This is not an eye test. You see that? Can you read that? I like Ike. Yeah, it's older than probably most of you here. This is made of good old, tough U.S. American steel from 1952. And you notice, when I fold it up, it protects my little heart. And not to say that I'm unflanked. Check it out. Here's my 1980 button, too. So I'm wearing my flak jacket before your very eyes. Amen. Did you see the Gene Autry? Did you see the Gene Autry way? Well, that reminds me of a song. And I'd like to say if I had a chance to be president again, by golly, I'd get back in the saddle. I'd like to sing a little song for you. A little thing called Back in the Saddle Again. Sing along with me here. All right, it's a real barn burner. All right, bring her up there just a little bit there, Laura. Everybody get together and sing with me. All right, here we go. Back in the saddle. I'm back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend. Where the longhorn cattle feed on lonely gypsum weed. I'm back in the saddle again. Riding the range once more. I took my old rifle with me. Yippee-yi-yi-yo, rocking to and fro. I'm back in the saddle again. Play that music now, boys. Where you sleep out every night and the only law is right. Back in the saddle again. All right. I'm back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend. Where the longhorn cattle feed on lowly gypsum weed. I'm back in the saddle again. Riding the range once more. I took my old 44. Where you sleep out every night and only There you go. Well, the good thing about those Western movies is, now you take like John Wayne there, and how about that movie High Noon with Gary Cooper? You remember that one? All right, and what about the Magnificent Seven? That's right, Yul Brynner. There he is, Yul Brynner. We had James Colburn was in that too, Steve McQueen. And you know what those movies were all about? It was about being outnumbered, thinking that you got this great big old gang of bad fellas that are chasing after you, but it was all about moral courage, standing up, doing what's right. And they came up with, we were talking about, they called it Star Wars. You remember what I'm speaking of? The SDI. Do you know what that SDI stands for? Strategic Defense Initiative. Well, most people nowadays don't know the difference between an SDI and an STD. When we had Mr. and Mrs. Mikhail Gorbachev over at the White House, it's an urban myth. I did not try to take the stain off his forehead with 20 mule team borax. Did not do that. Did not do that. And that book, remember that telltale book that came out? This lady named Kitty Kelly making this telltale book about Nancy and Frank Sinatra and all this? Well, to tell you the truth, I think it was nothing but a bunch of kitty litter. Well, you know, there's a lot of people, especially celebrities, are getting on the gang wagon, talking about they're going to be doing green and being ecological and economically and all this. But there's one guy who has already gone green. Yep. Larry King even has a forest named after him, petrified. You remember the time the old president here was thinking that the microphone was turned off? We're getting ready to have a press conference. You remember this? And let's go on. Is this on? Is this on? Kind of like the way Mr. Hoffman did. Is this on? And I didn't think it was on. But it was hooked up to a wide world broadcast, and I said, huh, well, I'm proud to say I just signed legislation to outlaw Russia forever. We're going to begin bombing in 5 minutes. You remember that? You do, don't you? People will listen when you say the wrong thing. And you would think that after all that fiasco about bombing Russia in 5 minutes, that Assemblyman Mike Duvall from right up there in Sacramento, California, would have thought before he started talking about his girlfriend's eye patch panties. See what happens when you talk sometimes? I don't know. I remember talking to my good friend Clint Eastwood, another one of the Western guys. You know Clint, carried a big gun, right? Well, he was asking me about his opinion. He says, I'm going to run for the mayor of Carmel. I went, what? You want to be the mayor of Carmel, California, right up the road here? He says, yes, I would. And I said, well, I don't know. You know what? I just don't think anybody, a middle-aged actor especially, who starred in a movie with an ape, has a chance in politics. And then he quickly reminded me, he said, oh yeah, well what about your movie Bedtime for Bonzo, where my co-star was a chimp? So it just goes to show you never can tell. Star Spangled Banner. You know the Star Spangled Banner? Yeah. All of you? All right, well it's time to get on up and do it. Just like in the ball game, let's all sing. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, the land of the free and the home of the brave. All right. You're great, you're great. I was a great ball. All I didn't want to say that was one way to always receive that standing ovation. And I'll tell you that. You've been a great audience. I thank you so much.
You know, Nancy and I always enjoy being hospitable and entertaining our friends. Well, this is a great place to bring your friends, the Anaheim White House.